Great movie.
Yeah, speaking of movies, what's your guys' all-time favorite Christmas movie? Since we are just an hour away from Christmas.
So I almost wore this shirt tonight.
Which
says I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho.
I have a machine gun. Ho,
we just
ho,
came from
ho.
a Christmas party, my family Christmas party, and Mr. Zed was wearing a T-shirt that said "Yippee-ki-yay."
But I tell you guys what though, I have learned from Trump over the years, and the one thing that we should all learn from Trump, because the left seems to have learned this more than we have, is the oversell. The left will push something so insanely absurd that you will take the halfway measure and you'll keep doing it forever and ever. That's how the left has worked for 100 years. But yet Trump writes the art of the deal, writes the end of the art of the deal. Nobody takes it. So here's my pitch. Lethal Weapon is also a Christmas movie, and we can't get people to accept Die Hard as a Christmas movie. So we should just start pushing Lethal Weapon, and then eventually they'll be like, well, okay, I guess Die Hard is, but maybe not Lethal Weapon, right? So like Lethal Weapon might be my favorite Christmas movie, and that way we can get Die Hard accepted and played on the Christmas movie channel.
Gremlins.
I like the way you're
Christmas
thinking
movie.
here, PJ.
Gremlins is another great Christmas movie. I also watched Santa Jaws this week. So, not a joke. I actually watched that.
Jumanji 2.
Jumanji 2?
I haven't seen Jumanji 2.
Near have I.
It's a Christmas movie?
It's a Christmas movie.
Oh, that's a great one. Chevy Chase, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
That's like the quintessential Christmas movie that you think of as like, that I think of.
Home Alone is one of my favorites.
It's not even my favorite, but it is the
Home Alone or Home Alone 2?
I prefer the first.
I think the first Home Alone, but they're both good. I would say Christmas Vacation's a yearly watch for me. I have to watch that every Christmas.
Yeah.
Just the intro. They're singing in the car.
What's the Christmas Story? Is that the one with the leg lamp?
Yeah,
that one I watch every year as well.
I watched that.
Home Alone also has a leg lamp. I'm pretty sure. At one point, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's like a shadow that's in the whatever. He uses a leg lamp. It's like
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Abby, what's your favorite Christmas movie?
I really like Die Hard. I really like The Holiday for rom-coms. And Wonderful Life, White Christmas for the old classics.
Yeah.
It's a Wonderful Life is great. Do you like Miracle on 34th Street? That's my sister's favorite. I'm not a big fan, but
that one's good. It's been a long time since I've seen that.
I put the Grinch up here. There's a couple of iterations of the Grinch. Is there one that you guys like over the other?
That's what I want to know. What's everybody's favorite Grinch?
They're so different.
I like the cartoon version from like the 70s, whatever that one is.
If it's a Christmas morning movie, it has to be the cartoon from the 70s. If it's a Christmas Eve evening and we want to all laugh, it's got to be the Jim Carrey one.
Okay.
I don't hate the Jim Carrey one, but I think the cartoon one is so much better. And like the Jim Carrey one's just really passable for me. I'll watch it if it's on.
Have you seen the
I love
one that
Jim
came
Carrey,
out
but
back in like?
It's okay.
Have you watched the one that came out in 2018? It's the
with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Right, that one's actually pretty good.
I haven't watched it, but my kids like it.
Yeah, that one's actually pretty good. My oldest daughter likes that one.
Do you know what's a good Christmas movie that's kind of newer is Office Christmas Party, if you like a comedy. Not for the kids, though. For the adults, it's hilarious.
My brother likes it. I haven't seen it yet.
It's so good. You need to watch that.
Harry Potter is considered a Christmas movie in my household. We watch it every year. We watch every single one.
The first Harry Potter?
All of them. We watch all of them. Oh. It's a tradition in our household for the longest time. But yeah.
Do you play foosball? I keep wanting to say foosball. Do you play lacrosse? Do you play lacrosse in your backyard with brooms?
Oh, we're not that crazy.
Okay.
And we're not mad at J.K. Rowling for creating women's spaces.
I've seen all the Harry Potter movies. I never got that into them. They're not bad. Like for me, it's the Harry Potter fan base that drives me nuts. So I will just forever rail on how much I hate Harry Potter just to piss them off. But I don't actually hate them that much. They're not bad.
What about the Polar Express?
I hate that movie. Does anybody else hate it, or is it just me?
I don't
Their
like
eyes creep me out.
The Uncanny Valley is tough. If you kind of make a conscious decision to get past that, I really like the music and the feel of it. I loved the book before the movie ever came out, so I always loved the bones of the story.
What's the Uncanny Valley?
I don't like the symbolism of it, which is that Tom Hanks was on a train with a bunch of kids.
Oh man, now I can never watch it again.
What's the Uncanny Valley is that spot in the brain that is you recognize human faces versus anything that is not human. So when you see something like a robot that's been given a human face, you know it was not a real human. You know it's just emulating.
Because every time I hear Uncanny Valley, I just think of the video game that I've never played. But I know it's a video game, and that's the only like reference I have to it. So is that part of Polar Express you're talking about?
Well, when you watch Polar Express, you see their faces, and you're like, oh, that's not a real. Like they look too close to trying to be real humans, but they're not.
It's like where CGI, like cartoon animation CGI, was like just not quite there because they have dead eyes. So it feels like watching mannequins in a play for 2 hours, and I can't watch it. So I have no idea if I even like the story of Polar Express. I watched it once, and it creeped me out.
I agree with
like
PJ
that might be a vestigial kind of like a response to seeing those things, though, just to finish the thought on Uncanny Valley, because there has to be some kind of a reason, evolutionarily or otherwise, that we would have a part of the brain that triggers an alert response when we see something that isn't quite human. Like what in the past tried to be human but wasn't, that we had to be aware of.
Yeah. What do you guys think of Bill Murray's Scrooged? Because I watched it again the other day because I hadn't seen it since I was a kid, and I really like it. But
I enjoyed it.
A lot of people are telling me that if you watch it now, it's not good anymore, and I thought it was great still.
I think the same way like the Polar Express creeps you out, those Coca-Cola Christmas bears when I was a kid always creep me out.
Really?
Because they're too they move, and like they really creeped me out. I hate those bears.
I always feel like it, to me, it's like a nostalgic throwback when I see them. I'm like, it reminds me of my childhood. So I don't feel the same way.
Hey, we have a big super chat over on Rumble. We need to say a big old thank you to Salty Ken. Salty Ken sent a bomb saying, "Get hammered, not like Paul Pelosi."
Salty Ken, thank you.
Salty Ken, thank you, Salty Ken.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
You know what was good this year is Lindsay Lohan's comeback movie, Falling for Christmas.
It was so good.
You watched it?
Yeah, on Abby's recommendation. My wife and I watched it. It was so good.
It was like every Hallmark movie ever.
It was a Hallmark movie, and you could predict it the entire way through, and it was great, and I loved it.
It was perfect. Yep.
And it didn't have some trans-binary message in it.
So is it on Hallmark?
It did kind of have like a gayness at the end, but it was mocking it, which I liked.
Yeah.
So is it on Hallmark, Abby?
Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
Oh, maybe me and my wife will take that in tomorrow.
There's a very effeminate male, and then eventually he's like he does the wrist turn, and you're like, yeah, we knew that was coming.
It was one of those.
Oh, go ahead.
You know, Hallmark movies, they do all the tropes, but they take themselves seriously. And this one did all the tropes, but it did it to mock them all, and it was just delightful.
All right, Mr. Zed, you hear that? We're watching a Lindsay Lohan movie tomorrow.
How fun was that when it was like it was showing you the montage of all the things they did that day, but it was like things you could not possibly have all done in one day.
It was great.
Don't spoil it for me.
That isn't. I didn't give you all the examples.
I'm
just giving you another reason to watch.
Guys.
Can I share something with you guys really quick before we move on? Because the Hallmark movie thing is hilarious. I brought this up to Abby the other day, and she's never seen it. There's a guy on TikTok that does like, this is what all Hallmark movies are like, and he's made his channel out of this over like years, and it's like every single one he does is this is what Hallmark movies are like. I just got to show this. Let me know if you can hear it, if I have to change something.
First day of fall, you know what that means? Oh no. So this woman is a private equity agent in the big city. Okay. And her boss asked her to visit a cider mill upstate so her company can buy and flip it. Work travel. She's always been a city girl and does not want to spend the weekend around mud and dirt. I hope she brings the proper footwear. But then she arrives and sees the owner chopping wood. Uh-oh. He's 6'4" and wears perfectly fitting jeans and works in the orchard all day, so his forearms are bulging. And she slips in the mud, so they have to go inside to get her cleaned up, and they have immediate chemistry.
Thank you, bad footwear.
And her rental car is also stuck in the mud, so he offers for her to stay in the guest suite for the night.
Thank you, two-wheel drive.
And they stay up all night drinking cider and laughing.
Yes!
And they fall in love.
There's no way anything can go wrong.
And while they're chatting, he reveals that it was always his mom's dream to run a cider mill, but she died before it could happen, so he keeps her dream alive by running it himself.
Oh my god.
And just before bed, her boss calls her and threatens to fire her if she doesn't complete the transactions.
She can't.
So the next morning, she comes down to breakfast, and he's made a huge homemade spread. Of course. She pulls out a binder and tells him what she's really there to do.
No.
He's devastated, thinks that he failed his mom while she opens the binder. But inside the binder, there's no contract, and instead, it's a copy of the town's zoning laws.
What?
It turns out she stayed up all night researching and found a tiny loophole that prevents her firm from taking the farm.
Yes!
Her boss is furious and threatens to fire her, but instead she quit so they can run the farm together. And they fall in love again.
Twice?
And they rescue a puppy.
I was gonna ask.
Will you be mine? First they fall, you know.
They fall in love again twice.
It's called Mill You Be Mine.
It's honestly not that far off from falling in love in Christmas or whatever it's called. So you should just watch the movie.
I've watched one that was kind of similar to what he described.
That's his whole channel is just like coming up with these crazy like Hallmark movies and pitching them. It's hilarious.
Is that the same dude who does like he is like fake does a rip of coke and is like, okay, give me this. Like the
No.
guy?
That guy is funny. The guy that does all the Tarantino movie stuff and the Guy Ritchie movie stuff. That's a different guy, but he's funny too.
They look very similar.
They do. They actually do. Look similar.
Honestly, just thought he grew a mustache.
No, it's a different guy. But somebody brought up Ernest Christmas earlier.
Oh,
that's my
Ernest does Christmas.
That's my
Ernest
son's
Christmas.
favorite Christmas movie. Is Ernest
What I mean, Vern?
Christmas? Yeah. You guys
I
like
liked his
those
Halloween
movies?
one, the one where he did saved it from the whatever those things were.
I don't think I've seen a single Ernest movie.
Oh,
How?
you're so missing out. Ernest was such a great wholesome character to look at as a kid. Not up to, but like you could watch and giggle and be like, haha, what an idiot. And it wasn't like a bad example to be setting. It was just a goofy dude.
Yeah.
And I love those movies as a kid. And so I found it funny that my son found them and he's like, it's one of his favorite DVD collections is the Ernest movies. He watches all of them.
Chip off with the old block.
Yeah, pretty much. He looks like a clone of me. So it's kind of funny.
Ernest looks like a clone of you?
No,
Or
my
your
son. I look like a clone of Ernest and my son looks like a clone of me. Yeah, no.
I think I might be mistaken, but I think the guy who played Ernest was also the voice of the dog on Toy Story.
He was.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Slink, yep.
He was the voice of Slink. Hey, Woody. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Ernest.
Yep.
That's really cool. I didn't know that. Now I'll hear it and picture his face.
I'm full of shitty movie trivia you did not need to know facts. So I can tell you anything else you want to know. Stuff you didn't care.
Do any of you guys watch or like the movie Elf? That's with
Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
James Caan.
I've seen it, but it's not like my favorite or anything.
I actively hate this movie, and I don't care if everybody hates me for it. I've always hated that movie.
Yeah, it's a who's who of pedophilia in a Christmas
Thank you.
movie.
And it's not good. I really don't get the obsession over it. It's like when I saw it the first time, I was like, well, that wasn't good. And then everybody became obsessed and it made me hate it more because I was like, why? Like, of all of the Christmas movies, this is the one that everybody tells me is like the quintessential Christmas movie. And at most, it's like a C-.
Yeah.
It mocks all the the fun parts of Christmas into being like, I guess, too candied up and too silly and stupid. Like
first 30 minutes of
elves
the
have
movie is
4
probably the
food
best.
groups. Like it's just dumb.
It's Will Ferrell's worst movie, and that's saying a lot because he's been in some real stinkers.
Wait, no, what the Stranger Than Fiction was pretty bad.
Superstar was horrible.
True.
What?
It
My
makes me.
sister loves Superstar. I didn't think
Superstar's
Stranger Than
great,
Fiction was bad,
so-
though. You talking about the one where he's like written into a book, Harold Crick or whatever?
Harold Crick wakes up at exactly the same time every day and brushes
I didn't
his
think
teeth
that was
240 times. Yeah, okay, well.
Oh, I don't know.
It makes
It
me
wasn't
hate a
funny,
movie
but
more when it's overrated.
You know what, PJ?
Yes.
I actually didn't mind it, and I only remembered it because I watched it a few times, and that's just another one I could remember the title of. So
Yeah.
just picking a hot take to go with. So
Yeah, no.
didn't pan out. You're right. Fine, I love that movie. Okay, get off
It
my
is a
back.
good movie. That's all I'm saying. No, Katie, you're right. When a movie's bad and it's overrated, it makes it like the worst movie ever.
It is.
Like, whereas normally I would just like be like, Elf, whatever.
That was the worst movie ever.
No,
the
other guys was funny because
No, it
of
was
Mark
not.
Wahlberg was hilarious.
No,
The
You
other
other
guys,
peacock, you gotta let me fly.
the other guys is Will Ferrell's greatest movie. I will
No,
hold hard and
he's
fast
not even
to that
funny
line.
in it. You
no,
gotta-
Lego
that's
Lego
not-
movie's
Movie
the-
was the
it's
best
the best movie
Will
he's in.
Ferrell was
Oh,
in.
that's true. Oh no, wait. Oh, never mind.
I don't like Nightmare Before Christmas. A, it's a Disney movie.
No,
and
it's not.
B,
Is
it's
it?
weird.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yep.
Nightmare Before Christmas, in my opinion, is a great one to watch before the Christmas season is really started. Like you watch it around Halloween.
November.
Yeah,
Mid-November movie.
November movie.
I found it really charming.
I actually don't mind A Nightmare Before Christmas. What I hate about it is, why can't I think of his name? The guy that everybody claims gives credit to that movie. I can't think of his
Johnny
name.
Depp.
No, the director
What movie?
supposedly.
Tim
Nightmare Before
Tim
Christmas.
Burton. But it's
Tim
not
Burton didn't make it, and that's the only thing that I hate about this. Is another guy made it. The same guy who made Monkey Bone made A Nightmare Before Christmas, and then Tim Burton bought it from him, and then they call it Tim Burton's A Nightmare Before Christmas. He had nothing to do with it, and I hate Tim Burton for it. Even, I don't have any problem with A Nightmare Before Christmas. I just hate Tim Burton because of that.
Wow.
I think
Fair
he's a douchebag.
Hating people on Christmas. Okay.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm
that
call
ain't
me
cool.
Scrooged.
I'm with a community theater troupe, and we did an immersive version of A Christmas Carol, so people could come and join in the Fezziwig Ball dance, and then the scenes were interspersed, and it just made me fall in love with A Christmas Carol all over again. I don't think I have a movie adaptation that I really love of the story. Maybe I just haven't seen enough of them.
That is a good question, though. Like, what's the best movie adaptation of A Christmas Carol? Because there's like 3 that come to mind that I think are really good.
I
The
kind of like.
Muppets. Frankly, the
Yep.
Muppet Christmas
the
Carol is the
Muppet.
best one
Good.
because it's just straight from the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to say the Muppets.
Yeah.
I think the Muppets is the best, but I actually think the Jim Carrey one was good. And then I'll just throw in
is that-
Scrooge because it's like
was he-
funny.
Was that the one that he was like a cartoon CGI? Is that the one?
Yeah, it came out in like 2009, 2010,
I
something
didn't
like
see
that.
that
And
one.
it wasn't bad. It was pretty good. But I think if I had to pick 2, the Muppets is number 1, and then Scrooge, just because it's so different, I like that one.
Yeah.
The George C.
I'm
Scott.
go with all those.
What do you guys think of the Nutcracker?
Which one?
The 5-hour Russian version?
I had this conversation with my sister last week, and I was like, the Nutcracker is like one of those quintessential things you think about every time Christmas comes around. And I asked her, have you ever seen any version of the Nutcracker ever?
Really?
She's like, no, I haven't. I'm like, me neither. I have no idea what it's about.
It's a
I
really
just know-
weird storyline, huh?
Like, I just know it's a Christmas-ish thing, but I don't know what it is.
Babes in Toyland kind
It's
of weird
one of
stuff
those.
happening.
It's one of those productions where you should drop acid before you go.
Oh, aren't they all though? I mean, most productions. Oh, the Christmas Carol with George C. Scott. He's also the actor that played Patton.
Yeah.
He's the guy that plays Scrooge with the big mutton chops. If you remember
one's
that,
not bad.
1984.
That one's
That's
not
the one
bad.
I remember watching in school when they
Yeah.
were like when
Oh,
we
I
were
do
still
remember that
allowed to
one.
watch
Cool.
Christmas movies in
Yeah.
Christmas time.
Did you guys know there was a Flintstones Christmas Carol? Because this is my first time hearing this.
No, but I want to
Not Christmas Carol, but I've watched the Flintstones Christmas every year when I was a kid.
The
Different one.
Nutcracker, in order to understand it, you have to just recognize that they're trying to look for excuses to do ballet.
Yeah.
So the whole story is a dream, and it's built around a few events that happen that produce her dream.
Mhm.
But most of the point of it is just to have as many different types of ballet from as many, and different cultural flavors around the world as possible put into her dream. And it's really beautiful. If you see like a talented troupe do it, it is incredible.
Quick shout out to the hairy-chested libertarian on Twitter. He wrote a book called Drosselmeyer, which apparently is like a Harry Potter version of the Nutcracker. And he sent me a copy of it because I had him on my show earlier this year. And it was actually really good. And I just I read it and I was like, I like this story. It's kind of Harry Potter with a Nutcracker theme, but I didn't know what the Nutcracker really was. So I didn't get the references to the Nutcracker, but I thought the book was good. So
PJ
Shout
doesn't
out
know
to
what
him.
the sugar plum fairies are.
they dance in your head. I know that.
They do.
Yeah.
But Abby's right about it being a beautiful, the choreography, like you have to go see it live, the choreography is just beautiful.
Don't Vax Me might have a point, but I would also argue that the old men in ballet are probably not going to be interested in girls.
Mm.
Unless you
I just
see-
made the same noise.
Unless you see,
We need that
you,
on a drop.
it's a great movie talking about movies. Did you ever see Black Swan?
Mm-hmm.
No.
It's a good one. It's a thriller, but that's kind of
I've heard that I should watch that, but just because of one scene in particular.
Well,
I don't watch any trans, let alone.
I would be okay with the regular Siberian Orchestra. I don't know why they have to add trans into it. I feel like it would be better if it was just dudes, Thank you so much for checking out this clip from the Last American Pubcast, the only podcast where everybody knows your name. And hey, while you're here, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and join us on a Saturday night from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Otherwise, you might get stuck with the tab.